Namaste and welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. For the second part of our practice, you'll want to have some additional props. So altogether, as you'll see behind me, you'll want to have a couple of blocks, a strap, a bolster, and a blanket. We're going to continue our physical focus on core strengthening, at least for the first half of our practice, the vinyasa flow. Please find a comfortable way to sit, however that is for your body. You might even prop your pelvis up on any of your props so that you can sit up tall and relax at the hips. On Wednesday's practice, our last practice of Vinyasa Flow, we talked about cultivating self-trust and ways that we can do that. And the focus that day was how we can, through my personal experience, cultivate that through physical challenges like exercise or activities that allow us to feel confident afterwards. So undertaking physical challenges that are not out of our scope, but within our range, where it takes us just slightly out of our comfort zone and we can get to the other side, knowing that we've made it through. And it's a way of strengthening our willpower and discipline and devotion. And we were focusing on the solar plexus, energy center in Sanskrit called Manipura chakra. I want to continue to focus on that center as well as the heart center blended, remembering that these energy centers work together. They're not in isolation. And especially when we're working with willpower and discipline, for those of us who have a lot of fire, which is the element of this energy center, raising my hand, it can get overheated. We can come to an imbalance of energy flow there. So using the heart energy's quality of compassion can, I believe, help bring balance. We're really listening to our bodies, listening to our hearts, and working together with our inner and outer being to cultivate that discipline, to cultivate that self-confidence. So our ending meditation, which is a guided 10-minute meditation, will be focused on how we can cultivate compassion with ourselves when we're dealing with difficult emotions. And it's one that was written by Tara Brach, mindfulness teacher, called RAIN. It's an acronym. And so in our physical practice today, what are ways that you can deeply listen without judging your own body, if it's having a challenge with some posture or the other, but really listen. And remember, there's degrees of rest, right? It doesn't have to be black or white, like this is hard, I'm not going to do it at all. This is hard, I can lessen the intensity. Remember that the physical yoga practice really gives us that range. So you can personalize according to what your body needs in this moment. With that being said, our theme is going to be self-compassion, as well as working with heart and solar plexus energies. So let's begin by assessing what's on your plate right now. As you let your body sit still, maybe close the eyes. Begin to tune into your physical state of being by scanning mentally your physical body and observing any emotions that you're feeling, sensations that you're feeling. Now feel the qualities of your breath without changing or controlling the breath. And through the breath, notice how you're feeling energetically. Now, how does your mind feel right now? Do you notice a pattern of what kinds of thoughts you've been feeding your attention? How do you feel emotionally? As you root down physically into the surface below your body, let in a deeper breath through your nose. Opening the mouth to exhale, let your spine rise a little taller without feeling rigid. Again, inhaling a little deeper as you press downward. Exhaling slowly through the mouth, rising tall through the spine. And just like that, continue to deepen your breath and invite you now to recognize something that you appreciate. Anything. Through the uplifting and empowering energy of gratitude, set your intention for your practice. What are you cultivating? What are you inviting into your experience? And then making an offering of our practice is a way to recognize that we are all interconnected and to step outside of the individual ego mind. So I invite you to choose somebody or a group of somebodies that you'd like to dedicate today's practice to. Let's set our intentions and dedications by chanting Om, also a way to create resonance to share a practice in. So let's chant that 3 times. Inhale a little deeper. And now breathing, if you can, with your lips closed. Bring your hands, I invite you to bring your hands to your belly. And as you exhale, draw your belly in towards the spine, starting to accentuate your exhalations, making them more active like this. Each exhalation, the belly bounces in towards the spine like a drum. This is called Kapalabhati Pranayama, or breath of fire. I'm going to invite you to practice that with me for 1 minute straight if you can. And of course, if you need to rest, start and stop as you need, but try to maintain a brisk rhythm that you can sustain. So you can either keep your hands on your belly, feeling it bounce in towards the spine, or you can raise the arms straight, let the thumbs point at each other as you make fists with the other hands. And in Kundalini Yoga, this combined with breath of fire is called the ego eradicator kriya. It's just stepping outside of the ego mind and just tuning into your true self. And so with that, it's a focus on Manipura chakra, solar plexus, igniting your inner fire and going on tuning in to your core self. So I'm going to watch the clock. And at the very end of a minute, I'll invite you to inhale deeply through the nose and hold the breath. As we hold the breath, I'll invite you to create some 3 energy locks. The first is that your root center, where you'll lift the pelvic floor, draw the navel in and up, will be your navel center, and then close the chin to the throat, where you softly close the throat and lengthen the back of the neck, is Jalandhara Bandha. So these are all bandhas, energy locks. We'll hold the breath as you're holding the locks for as comfortably long as you can. And then when you can't hold it anymore, you'll exhale through the mouth, let go of the blocks. And the purpose of the blocks or the locks is to then invite a surge of energy flow through the energy centers, the chakras. So as we're practicing breath of fire, you might close your eyes and steady your gaze at your third eye center, which is just a way to concentrate. Let's prepare for 1 minute, either hands at the belly or arms straight up, Thumbs pointing at each other. Ready? Begin. Remember, lips are closed, only through the nose. We're halfway through. Take a deep breath in, hold the breath. If you're raising the thumbs, bring the thumbs together without looking at them. Lift your pelvic floor, draw the navel in and up, close the chin to the chest. And when you can't hold the breath comfortably anymore, exhale on your own through the mouth. And when you've exhaled, relax the arms, and just pause to observe how you feel as you breathe naturally. Now let's begin the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, which will bring us into our movements and postures. It helps to balance your energy, calm and focus your mind and body. So closing the lips, sustain the breath evenly in and out through your nose while creating a gentle whispering sound by softly narrowing the back of your throat. You want to be able to hear that sound, but it's not forceful. That sound serves as an anchor that's audible. So that helps you to concentrate, be present. Let's make our way onto hands and knees. As you stack your shoulders over your wrists, spread your fingers flat so the index fingers are pointing straight ahead or slightly turned out. Stack your shoulders above your wrists, stack your hips above your knees. As you inhale, straighten your right leg behind you off the floor. Try to keep your pelvis still, not swaying to the left. Stay here for a few more breaths as you flex your right foot. Turn your right outer hip to face the ground so your hips are both facing the floor. Press the instep of your right foot actively towards your rear wall as you lengthen your chest and the top of your head towards your front wall. Now, if your balance feels pretty steady and you could add raising the left arm forward, palm facing your right wall, plug the left shoulder into its socket. Stay here or breathe in and lengthen through the center of your body. Exhale and contract at your navel, bending your elbow and knee to touch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract. Now inhale, reach, set the left hand back down so wrist is right under the shoulder. Lower your right toes to the floor and spin the right heel flat on the ground. Press the outer edge of your right foot deeply into the earth and then start to raise the right arm as you balance in a variation of side plank. Now, if you're feeling really wobbly, you can add more support by sliding your left shin behind you so that it is perpendicular to the length of your mat. If you're feeling like you want to add more rigor, you could flex your right foot and lift the heel to the height of your hip, sort of like a kneeling version of half moon pose. You can also challenge your balance by extending the right arm overhead. So whatever you're practicing, let's tune into another 3 to 4 more breaths. As you're rooting through the left palm, lift through the left side of your waist. That's what we're activating here, that part of your core, your obliques. Start to lower right hand, right knee. Inhale into cow pose, coiling your chest up. Exhale into cat pose, contracting your belly to round. Take another 2 cycles of cat, cow, or Betalasana. Connecting your movement to your breath. Then relax to a neutral spine. Roll your triceps towards the rear wall as you root down through finger spread. Engage the sides of your belly and lift the left leg straight behind you. Try to keep the pelvis still as you raise the leg. Flex the foot. Press the instep of it towards the rear wall. Maybe add raising your right arm forward so your upper arm is alongside your ear as you're looking slightly down. Draw the right shoulder back. Stay here. Or inhale, lengthen. Then exhale, contract. Elbow and knee towards each other. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round. Inhale, reach. And exhale, round. This time, reach. Lower the right hand again so wrist is right under shoulder. Spread the fingers. Lower the left toes on the floor, then spin the heel flat, outer edge of the foot, rooting down like triangle pose. Press the floor away with your right hand and lift the left arm, balancing in a variation of Vashisthasana, side plank. If your balance feels wobbly here, you can slide your right shin directly behind you, so your foot is directly behind you. If you want to add more rigor, flex the left foot off the floor so your ankle is at the height of your hip. Maybe add extending your left arm overhead. Draw both of your shoulder blades down your back and seal in the bottom of your front ribs. Last 3 breaths. Begin to lower your hand, your knee. This time, spin your fingertips to turn out or to face your knees to stretch your inner wrists. And let's take another 3 rounds of cat-cow. Breathe in, draw your heart forward and gaze up. Breathe out, drop the head slowly as you contract the belly. Keep going. And after the next round, make your way into Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. Once there, bend your knees, look past your fingertips, then walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, press your shins or blocks or the ground, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly rise. Rolling the shoulders back, tilt your heart towards the sun. Exhale, marry your palms from your crown to your heart center. Let's start sun salutation C. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips, Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips outside your heels. Inhale, step your left knee behind you, look up, Anjaneyasana. As you hold your breath, step into plank pose, top of a push-up. Exhale, lower your knees, then your chest, then your chin in Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide forward, roll the shoulders back into Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lift your hips back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee, gaze up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, rise, lifting your heart towards the sun with gratitude. Exhale, join your hands at your heart center. Second side, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Lower the fingertips. Inhale, step right knee back, look up. Hold your breath as you step to plank. Ashtangasana, exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, step right foot beside right thumb. Left knee down, look up. Exhale, step left foot forward and bow. Inhale, rise. Exhale to your heart center. Sun salutation A. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Press your shins, blocks or the floor. Inhale, lengthen forward. Step into plank. And as you exhale, this time glide forward, firm in the belly, graze your elbows by your ribs, lower through chaturanga, then inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Draw the shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple more deep breaths. Steadying your gaze to help steady your mental focus. When you've emptied the breath, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. This time, bring the inner edges of your feet to touch. Bend your knees together to touch. And as you inhale, sit back towards your heels, raise the arms in chair pose. You're gonna be here for a few breaths. So relax the shoulders down, draw the tailbone downward, seal in the bottom front ribs, and glide your shin bones back. So if you look down, you could see your toes. Now imagine there's a wall right behind your back and you're sliding your glutes slowly down that wall. Take your time to lower all the way to sit. Once you're sitting, lift your feet. You can catch the backs of your knees, kicking the legs forward, or you can keep the arms extended forward. Knees can be bent or legs straight. Boat pose, Navasana. We're going to flow to the breath here. So if you need support, place your hands on the floor alongside your pelvis. Inhale, lower halfway down into half boat, Ardha Navasana. Contract the belly, exhale, rise to boat. 4 more cycles. Inhale, half boat. Exhale, boat. Inhale, Ardha Navasana. Exhale, Navasana. Inhale, lower. From the belly, contract. Exhale, lift. Last one. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. This time you can place your feet on the ground, interlace your fingers, except the index. Or if you want to add the rigor of keeping the feet lifted, bring the legs together, feet flexed. Breathe in, sit a little taller, but relax the shoulders. Keep the legs where they are. Exhale, twist to your right, pointing as far to the right wall as you can. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Last cycle. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Cross the shins. Plant the hands in front. Or you could slide the legs one side. Float to chaturanga or step to plank and lower. Take it to your vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Downward dog. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee high towards your nose. Contract the belly and round. Step the foot beside your right thumb. Spin the left heel down, warrior one. Hips facing forward, tall spine. Notice the quality of your breath. Now either join your hands in prayer at your heart, good place to start, or if your lower back feels pretty stable, no issues there, and you want to add more rigor, interlace the fingers overhead except the index. Keep your front ribs sealing in, square the hips forward, and just tilt your torso forward diagonally to hover a few inches above the right thigh. Keep scissoring the right hip back. Think of creating a long diagonal line from the top of your head through your tailbone and inner left heel. Degasana. Begin to shift all the way forward into warrior three, where you also have the option of placing your hands on blocks beneath your shoulders. Get long through the midline of your body as you square both hips to face the floor. Virabhadrasana 3. Lifting through the sides of the belly, one more deep breath. Exhale, softly step back to warrior one. Bring the arms behind you, clasping. Inhale, coil the chest up, and then lower your hands to the floor. Optional vinyasa, or step straight to downward dog. Tune into your breath. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Step the foot beside left thumb. Spin the right heel down. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Squaring your hips to face forward, slightly lift your frontal hip bones and seal in the bottom of your front ribs. Either join your hands in prayer at your heart, good place to start, or bring the arms overhead and interlace the fingers except the index. Plug the shoulders down. The latter adds more rigor, and I only recommend it if your lower back is free of issues. You feel stable there. Begin to tilt your torso forward, creating a diagonal line, just hovering off of your left thigh. Keep drawing the left hip back and turning the right hip to face forward. Tune into your breath. So I talked about practicing self-compassion. It's easy to get caught in the momentum when you're in a big class of people and looking over and seeing what person next to you is doing. But here, you're in your own space. Are you able to more deeply listen when you might need to take a little degree step back or a few degrees? Start to shift forward if you're ready. Warrior three. And sometimes self-compassion doesn't mean to rest. Sometimes it simply means to acknowledge that something is challenging or you're relating to something in some way that might be difficult. How's the breath here? Couple more. Slowly step back to warrior one. Backstroke the arms, interlace the opposite thumb on top behind you, and breathe in, coil your chest up. Last vinyasa if you want to take it. Downward facing dog. Tune into 5 slow breaths. Feeling your hips rise and drop back as your neck softens and the shoulder blades slide up onto the back. Triceps rotating towards the floor, front ribs sealing in, heels rooting towards the earth. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you, turn out the thigh, and let's come into single pigeon pose. Sliding the right shin across your mat in front of your pelvis, slide your left leg straight behind. Keep the left toes tucked for a moment as you square your hips, placing the hands alongside your hips, draw the right hip back, rotate the left outer hip forward. Notice if it's smart to use a prop under your right glute if there's a gap there between it and the floor. If your right shin does parallel the front edge of your mat while keeping the hip squared, then make sure that you're flexing your right foot to stabilize your knee. And then inhale, lift your heart up, relax your shoulders. Take your time folding forward. We're going to be in this posture for 3 minutes before we switch sides. Now entering the restorative and yin part of our yin yang practice. Now remember, you could use a block underneath your forehead, adjusting the height as you need. You could use more like a pillow and bear hug that. So let your body feel that it can just rest in this pose, even though there might be some discomfort where you might be feeling tight. Still tuning into the gentle sound of your breathing. A way to be present here in your body and observe the sensations. and how they might shift. Nice deep breath where you are. Take your time when you're ready to start lifting your head and torso very slowly, being mindful of the breath as you transition back into downward facing dog. When you arrive there, you might lift the right leg up behind you, give it some movement at the hip to encourage blood flow into that region. And then for the second side, from downward dog, inhale, raise your left leg back, bend the knee, and turn out your left thigh. Cross the shin in front of your pelvis, lowering to sit. Keep your right toes tucked. Frame your hips with your hands. Lift your pelvis, draw the left outer hip back. Rotate the right outer hip forward. Maybe place a prop under your left glute if needed. And if your left shin is parallel to the front edge of your mat, flex your left foot. And then relax your right toes and breathe in, lift your heart. And taking your time, start to bow in if that is available for you, to the degree that it's available for you. Now that's another way of practicing self-compassion, is really honoring the truth of your experience in your body. Not getting caught up in the ego mind, which might set expectations and comparisons. And just being with what's present right now. How are you allowing your body to receive what it actually needs? All right, I'm going to watch the clock for 3 minutes here. Notice where your attention is right now. And another part of that compassion practice is, if it's not in the present, just being kind to yourself. You might smile inward if you catch your attention elsewhere, and then just bring it back softly to the breath. One more deep breath here. And then again, take your time to very slowly and mindfully transition back into one more downward facing dog. This time, maybe lifting your left leg behind you, giving it some movement at the hip. And when you're ready, from hands and knees or plank, please lower all the way down to your belly. Let's give the heart center region some attention. I'm going to open up the fronts of the shoulders in a yin posture. You might want to place a blocker pillow just to the right side of your skull on the ground. Slide your right arm out to the right, palm face down on the floor in line with your right shoulder, and plant your left fingertips on the ground just beside your left shoulder. Press the ground away with it and slowly begin to turn over onto your right hip, resting the right side of your head onto your prop. Take a moment to slide your right shoulder blade further down the back, so you're lengthening the right side of your neck. And just feel into the sensations, especially along the front of your right shoulder, guiding you to the degree at which you need to lean back. If you're not feeling much happening, you might step the left foot behind you. Just to change it up, you might wrap the left arm behind you. And just options. Notice what works, what your body is asking for. Going to be here for another minute. Follow the next exhalation all the way out. And then when you're ready, start to gently turn over onto your belly again. You might pause a moment and just place that prop under your forehead as you lie face down, resting the arms wherever it's comfortable for you. And just be still for about 3 breaths, letting the body unwind from that and observing it. Take your time to transition to your second side, placing the prop on the left side of your skull and sliding your left arm straight out to your left side, palm face down on the floor in line with your left shoulder. And then planting the right hand alongside your right Shoulder, begin to press the floor away from it, away with it, and then rolling onto your left side. Slide the left shoulder blade further down your back. And then notice if the side needs a different degree of intensity. Part of compassion practice, one of the first steps of it, is to truly listen, to be present with the messages you're receiving from your body, from your inner being, from your heart. Gonna be here for a minute more. And start to roll onto your belly when you're ready. Pause again for at least 3 breaths, maybe resting your forehead on your prop. And just feel your body unwind from that pose. Placing your hands alongside your ribs, press up gently to hands and knees. And take your 2 blocks with you as you lower onto your back. Bending your knees, stepping your feet onto the ground. And then as you lie with your head on the floor, shoulders relaxed away from the neck there, separate your feet as wide apart as your hips and parallel your feet. Then take the first block and lift up your pelvis, slide the block wide across your sacrum, which is the flat part of your lower back. So make sure it's not too low towards the bottom of your glutes nor too high towards your rib cage, but just at a comfortable, stable location. Feel that for a moment. Does it feel symmetrical? Does it feel easeful? So we're setting up for restorative bridge pose to further open up the front body, like the solar plexus and the heart center regions. And if you're not feeling much, you might either tilt that block to the second level or the third level, or stack the second block at the lowest level and underneath, which might feel more stable because you get to use the widest base of the block. Then as you've decided the height of the blocks beneath your sacrum, keep your legs parallel to each other. Bring your arms really close to your sides on the floor and rotate the fronts of your shoulders back to broaden your collarbones, turning the palms face up, resting your hands down. Then tilt your chin slightly away from your chest, opening your throat. Let's focus breath awareness into the areas of your heart chakra and your solar plexus chakra, Anahata and Manipura. So on your next in-breath, invite the inhale to expand in the center of your chest and upper back, visualizing the color green like the forest, heart energy. And then as you exhale, see that green permeate to all ends of your body, spreading the heart energy throughout. On your next inhale, See your solar plexus region, upper belly, mid back, fill up with a color yellow, a fierce solar power, inner strength, confidence. And then as you exhale, see that yellow embrace you all around. Now let's connect the two. Inhale into your heart center, the color green. And as you exhale, let the breath enter your solar plexus, uniting with that color yellow. Let the two colors spread throughout your body. Inhaling into your heart center, green. Exhaling down to your solar plexus, yellow. Few more deep breaths. Remember, the qualities of balanced energy at your heart chakra include feeling your natural state of your inner being, which is joy, compassion, forgiveness, something that you can do as a daily practice, as well as harmony, feeling connected with yourself and the world and others around you. The heart center also is about a balance of giving and receiving. Your solar plexus center is about, when it's in balance, strong sense of will that unites with a feeling of devotion to your highest well-being and the well-being of those around you. It's the ability to see your ego as simply a voice that you don't always have to believe, but instead having more alignment with your true self that has the discernment. Solar plexus energy has strong ability to digest, nourishment, taking in what promotes well-being, and releasing, letting go of what doesn't. It's the fire of digestion too. So now we're going to lift the feet up. You can either adjust the height of the blocks or stay where you are if that's comfortable, lifting both legs, generally straight but relaxed. I invite you now to lengthen your exhalations longer than your inhalations. And let's do 3 cycles together, and then you can continue for several more cycles on your own. And by doing this, you help to invite even more relaxation to your mind, body, your whole being. Very calming for the nervous system. So I'll count to 5 as you breathe in and 7 as you breathe out. Empty this breath to prepare. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try another 3 or so cycles on your own. And when you finish or decide to be finished with that breathing technique, let go of controlling your breath. Notice the effects of that. As you're breathing naturally, begin to step your feet onto the floor. Remove any props from underneath your body and gently lower your spine and pelvis. Then draw your bent knees together into your chest, maybe rocking side to side to gently massage your lower back. Splaying your thighs to the outsides of your ribs, lift the soles of your feet towards the sky and thread your arms between your thighs, taking hold of your outer feet. Happy baby. To support your lower back, ground your tailbone, ground your shoulders and head. As you parallel your feet to each other, draw your knees closer and closer to the ground as you comfortably can. Bring your hands to your outer thighs. Gently draw the knees together. Once again, maybe this time lifting the head and shoulders, giving yourself a hug, and then sliding your feet out apart, wider than hips distance on the ground, setting up your body in the most comfortable position to be able to be still and rest. Shavasana will be here for a few minutes. Closing your eyes, continue to breathe naturally, and be present with yourself. As you rest there a little longer, come back to noticing how your body feels, like we did at the beginning of the practice, assessing what's present now. As you listen to your body, how does it want to begin moving? Tune into that and begin to gently wake it up. Gradually turning over onto your right side, spend a few moments resting your head and tuning into your breath. Noticing how you feel energetically now. And then gently lift your body up. Please find a comfortable way to sit for our 10 minutes of guided rain mindfulness meditation. So make sure you're sitting in a way that is comfortable, allows you to breathe well, and your heart space and solar plexus center feel open so energy can flow easily through all 7 chakras. You might let the palms stack face up on the center of your lap, cultivating evenness of mind, thumb tips touching. And then maybe close your eyes. As I mentioned, RAIN is an acronym which stands for Recognize, Allow, Investigate, and Nurture. It is a mindfulness meditation that helps to practice self-compassion and in confronting emotional difficulty. Anytime during this meditation that you might feel overwhelmed, simply come back to something that might feel more neutral to you and reassuring, which could be the feeling of your body breathing. Just coming back and centering on the breath. Anytime. This is a way to self-regulate and resource yourself, taking care of yourself. So now do locate where you can feel your natural breath in your body. Invite you to begin by resting your awareness there. So the R in RAIN is recognizing a difficult emotion when it arises. If you're not currently experiencing a difficult emotion, you might choose one that you experienced recently or commonly lately. This could be anger, sadness, frustration. As part of recognizing, consciously acknowledge the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that are affecting you. Note what you are most aware of. You might even name the emotions if you're able to. And in naming them, it can help to create a little space between you and the emotion so that you're not over-identified with it. Now, the second step in RAIN is A. Allow the experience to be there just as it is. Letting the thoughts, emotions, feelings, or sensations you have recognized to simply be there without trying to fix or avoid anything. For example, you might recognize fear and allow it by mentally whispering to yourself, it's okay, or this belongs, or simply yes. This creates a pause that makes it possible to deepen attention. And now the third step of RAIN is I, investigate with interest and care. To investigate, call on your natural curiosity, the desire to know truth, and direct a more focused attention to your present experience. You might ask yourself, what most wants attention? How am I experiencing this in my body? What am I believing? What does this vulnerable place want from me? What does it most need? Whatever the inquiry, your investigation will be most transformational if you step away from conceptualizing and bring your primary attention to the felt sense in your body. Let's spend another minute just noticing the sensations in your body. Now, the second to last step in RAIN is N, nurture with self-compassion. Self-compassion begins to naturally arise in the moments that you recognize you are suffering. It comes into fullness as you intentionally nurture your inner life with self-care. To do this, try to sense what the wounded, frightened, or hurting place inside you most needs. And then offer some gesture of active care that might address this need. Does it need a message of reassurance, of forgiveness, of companionship, of love? Experiment and see which intentional gesture of kindness most helps to comfort, soften, or open your heart. It might be the mental whisper, I'm here with you. I'm sorry and I love you. I love you and I'm listening. It's not your fault. Trust in your goodness. In addition to a whispered message of care, many people find healing by gently placing a hand on the heart or a cheek, or by envisioning being bathed in or embraced by warm, radiant light. If it feels difficult to offer yourself love, bring to mind a loving being, like a spiritual figure, family member, friend, or pet, and imagine that being's love and wisdom flowing into you. Now, when you've completed these 4 active steps of rain, there's another important part, which is really the last step. It's important to notice the quality of your own presence and rest in that wakeful, tender space of awareness. The fruit of rain is realizing that you are no longer imprisoned in or identified with any limiting sense of self. Give yourself the gift of becoming familiar with the truth and natural freedom of your being. It is mysterious and precious. So let's spend the last minute of this meditation just being in our own loving presence. Now notice how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. You might welcome a thought of gratitude, anything that you appreciate right now. Come back to what your intention is for today's practice. And then imagine to whom or what you dedicated this practice, in some way receiving benefit. To close, let's join our voices again together, chanting Om 3 times, feeling the resonance you're both giving and receiving from your heart with the power of your solar plexus. Take a deep breath in. Bowing in towards your heart center. Recognize the light within you. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.